That's a good one, right? I just thought of it.
All right, Bryce.
What's up?
Bryce Bangs.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet y'all. Thank y'all for
It's
having me.
awesome having you guys out.
Yes, sir.
So, Bryce Bangs and
Yes, sir.
then Samuel Culp. You're a producer, engineer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Tone wizard,
Yeah.
knob toner.
Knob junkie. Yeah.
How long have y'all worked together?
We
About 10 months.
yeah.
Yeah.
We started pre-production like 5 months before we went to the studio, and just had a bunch of writing sessions together, which is something I never did before. So that was a pretty cool. He just brought up a lot of things like I wouldn't think about, you know, with some of my songs that I kind of felt like I was stuck on, and I didn't know like where to go, what direction to go to next. And I'm a perfectionist in like everything that I do, so it's kind of hard to let go and let somebody else take the reins on some certain things. But once I had Sam, you know, just put his touch on a couple of them, I was like, this is gonna be so easy. And it made the pre-production process. Pre-production process was a little bit difficult to start off with, but it was totally worth it once we got in the studio.
We went through 3 different houses.
Three
Pre-production.
Yeah. We did it.
I was living in Arlington.
Yep.
And then I moved in with Pete to like the hood in Fort Worth.
It was the fucking hood.
Yeah.
It wasn't very nice being there at nighttime.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. And then once we got in the studio, you know, after the pre-production, it was smooth sailing. I mean, we had limited time, but we knew exactly what we were doing, you know, once we got in there, so it made a pretty smooth transition.
Very nice.
Yes, sir.
How'd y'all meet? How did you know?
Andrew Maley.
Yeah, and my drummer Ryan knew Andrew, you know, for a few years, and I've known Andrew a little bit, but then yeah, he
Andrew's
linked us
my
up.
business partner in the Common House Collective.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And then we pretty much just hit it off, you know, pretty much immediately. We knew that he liked, you know, the stuff that I was doing. And did y'all go to a live show? Was it the?
I had never seen you. I didn't know who you were.
Right, so that was Andrew and somebody else then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was like once we met, in like, you know, 5 minutes. You know, for me, I'm pretty easy to judge, you know, character and how I'm gonna, you know, mix well with somebody, and I knew it was gonna be pretty instant. You know what I mean?
That's the thing, man. It's business, it's friendship, it's relationships. You gotta
Well,
find,
we're bloody married.
There you go.
Yeah,
It's perfect. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
really hard to find people that you can mesh with sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then again, it's also about networking. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was perfect. Perfect match.
What's your background? How did you get into music?
When I moved from Chicago when I was like 7 years old. We moved to South Lake, which is a suburb just outside of Dallas. And when we moved, it was Christmas break, and there's no school, so I had a lot of time on my hands. And Dad had this old Washburn acoustic that he strummed on every once in a while. He never really played, and I told him I wanted to play guitar. So we took lessons. Took about like a month of lessons, and figured out kind of how to play stuff on my own, and then kind of went from there. Just like, hey, I need electric guitar. And it's like Jimi Hendrix. You learn some Jimi Hendrix, you'll get an electric guitar. I was like, in, for sure. And then that's what like kind of opened my eyes to, you know, Jimmy, and then Stevie. You know, just listening to more blues stuff, and that's what like really got me hardcore into guitar playing at least. Singing, I was super insecure about my voice, like all throughout high school. Never sang in front of like anybody unless I had like multiple drinks.
Right? That sounds great.
Yeah. So like, and then once I got into college, it got to a point I was just like, you know what, I need to start doing this now. And so I just like really started writing everything, and would show some of my friends, and I'd get good responses out of it. So they just keep telling me to keep going. And that's
you don't try, man, you'll never know.
That's what I'm saying. Like if I would hate myself if I woke up and 50 years old, wife and kids, and just thought like, well, what if I did do that? I don't ever want to say, you know, what if.
That's true, man. That's very true. That's a good thing to keep.
Yeah.
What about yourself? I mean, like musical. I mean, when did you start, and like getting into production as well?
Oh man, I was rocking out with broomsticks when I was like 6 years old. You know. I got my first guitar when I was 8, and I took a couple of lessons, and then didn't want to learn any more Creed songs, so kind of started playing metal with the kid down the street, and that
Creed to
was,
Slayer.
yeah, Creed to Slayer. I learned how to
higher
shred
than
for a little
blood.
while. Yeah, that was cool. And then when I was in high school, I was in like a couple of like metal bands, and then I had Good Boy and Daisy, and at some point I just was like, well, I'm putting so much effort into these projects, am I maybe like a producer or something? Here we are.
That's awesome, man. You just fall into it. Just realize that you love it, you know?
Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
about it.
So we saw the music video. What was that process like?
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was way awesome. I was, I didn't know what to expect. I'd never done a video, before like that. So it was, it was top notch. Production value on it is awesome.
Looks great.
It was done by Ill Fusion Creative, company based in Fort Worth. And they normally do like brand.
So Ill Fusion is a really great like commercial company. They do social media management. They do all sorts of really great
That's what I was
stuff.
looking for.
Very nice.
And they, I got linked up with them through my friend Nick McClanahan, who used to work for them and now works with Common House.
Gotcha.
And he just wanted to introduce me to Jeff, and Jeff was such a cool guy, and the whole team was just awesome, and I was like, dang, we should do a video,
And they had
They
never
were-
done.
they
They'd
were-
never done music videos before.
but they were interested in the bit, so this was kind of a way to like.
It was like the perfect
Yeah.
timing deal
Yeah.
where they're like, hey, if we'll hook you up with a pretty good deal because we've never done a video before. I was like, well, I've never done a video either. So let's do this, and it worked out. It worked out perfect. We had 2 days of shooting.
Like 4 locations.
Yeah, a couple different locations. They were long days. It was so fucking hot.
Yeah.
Which is perfect. It's the song's called Evil Roams. It's about the devil and shit. So it's,
Evil.
it was perfect. It all worked out, and it came out awesome.
Dude, yeah, hearing that after seeing it is almost like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah.
It looks great. Like, how does that?
Right.
It turned out great, man. Honestly.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It looks
And
really
if
cool.
anybody needs a video done, man, Ill Fusion.
Ill
How did
Fusion.
y'all come up with the concept for the video? Was that
So we storyboarded for 2 days. Just me and Andrew, just me and Nick and Ill Fusion, then me and Andrew and Ill Fusion. Then we brought Bryce in and kind of got his vision for the project. So really it was just like, being in a room, spitting ideas for a long time.
And the song was Evil Realms was based on a dream that I had, and sometimes I'll have some of these dreams that I'll remember every single thing about it, and they're just lucid as hell. And this one was one of those where I woke up, I was like cold sweat, freaking out, like one of those just scary dreams you've had. I was like, I'm definitely writing something about this. That was insane. So like when I wrote that, and then I saw the storyboards that they did, I was like, this is going perfect.
That's awesome.
So it was a perfect match right there for that.
It's one of my, it's probably the darkest song on the album.
Yeah, definitely.
And that kind of makes it my favorite immediately.
Right. Just a little bit more.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was really exciting to get to do the bit for Evil Rooms.
Yeah, man, it was fun. We had a lot of people that showed up. We needed some extras for some stuff, and people showed up.
Roxana
Redfoot was
is
the
my
actress
my
in
model
it.
friend.
Very nice.
She did great.
She's incredible.
She plays a great devil. Or a psycho ex-girlfriend, however you want to look at it. She did great.
Did her own nails.
Did her own nails. Yeah, they were like
stuff.
they were like 3 inches past her
long.
fingers,
Yeah.
and I could feel them like on my back.
Yeah, that
she does-
shot that was like this.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah,
dude.
right.
Yeah,
Right after that, I told my wife, I go, you need to get some of these nails.
Yeah, there you go.
We need to have this happen.
That is awesome. I don't know if you ever seen like Dimebag Darrell's house during like Halloween, but it's like
I've seen the outside.
Well,
Yeah.
dude, he used to have these hands, these like big green claws that would go on his roof like this. And that's exactly what it looked like. Because it didn't look like any hands were there. It was just like,
Yeah.
it was just like, oh man, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Like, yeah, that's awesome. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, man, it was cool. Turned out great. I couldn't have asked for anything more for that. It was great.
That's
That's awesome.
surprising knowing that they've never done a music video before.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
It really did come out great.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've done a lot of other commercial work. It's very, it's very
So
similar.
is it-
Like
yeah,
everything's kind of, it's all creative, but they finally got to like
They got the key wet.
be as creative as they could be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely more freedom there.
Yeah.
At first, I wanted to kind of be there in the cutting room to see how they were doing everything, and then after watching them, how they did the storyboard, how they prepared, how we executed all the shots that we needed to. By the end of it, I was like, they don't need me. They don't need me taking up their time and like screwing up their stuff. Like, let them work.
That's
It worked out.
That's awesome.
Yup.
So what's your biggest influences?
Man, I got a lot of them. I consider myself not only a songwriter, but like a guitar player also. I consider myself a storyteller. So there's a lot of different influences that I have that contribute to what makes me Bryce Bangs. When I went to school at Tech, that's all in West Texas, and all my fraternity brothers, all we listened to was like Texas country and all that. So we did listen to a lot of Stevie then, but Ryan Bingham is somebody that I never really listened to until I got out there. That dude he's an incredible storyteller, songwriter. So he's a big influence with me that way. Gary Clark, the way that his guitar tones always sound is just always just so gross. Love him. He's so awesome.
Medium
I mean, Jimmy, obviously, the Black Keys, Notorious B.I.G. I feel is another one. Just his storytelling, man. I love when I hear songs, no matter what genre it is. If I can close my eyes and I can picture exactly what's going on. Like I was listening to John Prine on the way over here. Like that dude is a wizard when it comes to creating stories and letting you see exactly what he's singing. So I mean it's my influence. They don't stop. I mean I'm finding new influences every day, pretty much with anybody new that I hear. So yeah, and I'm always I don't like to put myself in one genre anyway. So anything that I think can help me grow as an artist and as a creative, I mean it's bring it on. I mean I'm down to listen to anything.
That's awesome.
What's your live band like?
Our live band, we have 5. There's 5 of us right now. It's me. I'm obviously singer and play the guitar. Bobby Betzel plays guitar. Sam plays the bass. Drew Chapa plays the keys, and then Ryan Muller, the animal, plays the beats. Plays the drums and the SPDSX. It's loud. It's we have a lot of fun when we play live, and that's one thing I always hear. After our shows is everybody's always like, man, y'all are always smiling and just having the best time, ever. When you're up there, we have
taper.
Yeah, man. It's a great live show. We have a ton of fun. It's super loud.
Did they record on the album too?
Yeah. So
I did not try.
he did not. Andrew Maley.
did.
Andrew Maley played bass on the record. But everybody else in the band was on the record, was tracking on it. Choppa, I didn't have a keys player at the time, but I knew I wanted keys on this record. And I was like, man, I need a keys player. And Choppa's like, I'll play live with you. I was like, yes, you're in. Obviously, you're definitely in. And then Sam was like, no brainer. He's like, I'll play bass on this. I was like, yes, perfect. So then we have a band. But me, Ryan, and Bobby, we have been playing with each other for probably like the last 2 or 3 years. So we've got a pretty tight, core. And but yeah, so Sam and Drew are pretty much the newbies for right now. But yeah, it's a tight knit group. We're getting
Bob's becoming master of the slide.
Yeah.
Watch out, world. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's
It's a tough thing to do.
he is up to his slide game for sure.
Yeah, after this record.
After this record,
Yeah.
we gave him a slide on everything. Sam's like, we need to slide here. Bobby's like, all right, okay, well, we might as well. So let's figure it out.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Any plans for a tour?
we're trying. That's something we're actually doing right now. Is trying to figure out when we can go, where we're gonna go. You know, it's we're trying to figure all that stuff out. You know, as we speak right now, and I have multiple people that are reaching out to all over the place. But yeah.
Very nice, man. What would be like your favorite venue that you played?
Tokyo.
Tokyo?
Yeah.
Like, wait, well, where's that at? Is that, you mean like, oh, no joke? Dude, what, that is badass.
That'd be cool, right?
Oh,
That would be cool. Yeah, I have not played in Tokyo. Man, coolest place probably is, man, I don't know, Granada. Granada, we opened it for Bob Schneider, and the Room Sounds over there, and I guess that was April. It was a week before my wedding, and that was cool. 'Cause I'd grown up going to shows at Granada, and yeah, that was pretty cool. Now we're gonna be headlining it July 13th for the album release show.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, the Three Link show was dope too.
The Three Link show is
Super
always
cool.
really
We didn't know
fun.
anybody, and that room just packed.
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, when Three Links is going, it's hard to beat that.
Popping,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's open, so you get all
Yeah,
the street
all the
traffic.
street walkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stand blocked away. You can't walk through them. You gotta walk around them.
Once you start drawing a crowd, everyone's like, well, why is there a crowd?
Yeah,
What's
why
going
was
on?
this
You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's going on, man? That's it, man. That's cool.
What's your most embarrassing mistakes that have happened
On stage.
Yeah.
Ooh, I've forgotten lyrics a lot, and it's
It happens. Yeah, I know, right?
Personal.
That's the best question.
oh,
It
dude, what I've always heard, like when I started doing the music, is the show must go on, like,
Oh,
no
yes,
matter what.
Always, yep.
And a lot of times people don't know you fuck anything up until you go, or you make a face or
someone in the
something like
band's
that.
Wait a minute, what
Yeah.
was that?
Face turns like a beat red.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've
"Oh, is he
done-
gonna die?"
Okay, probably one of my most embarrassing. So I had my first acoustic show in Dallas. It was at some like uptown bar in Uptown, and it was 6th Street. That's RAP 6th Street. It's dead now, but I was so nervous that I just started boozing just so much, like right before. It was just me and an acoustic guitar all by myself. And during the middle of like the last song, my eyes were closed. I was jamming out, and I fell backwards on the stool, fell back, and like, and then I got on, and I don't remember this. It was not one of my finer moments. And they said I got back on the stage, started right where I left off, finished the
right
song, and then that was it. And now everybody always says, so you bring a bar stool? To every acoustic gig, they're like, you
Gotta have
you
it back on it, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a
So it's gonna be hard to live that down. That's probably that, or forgetting lyrics is always, just like a, I don't know. Yeah, just like little things like that. Where you're like, I've played this song 100 times, but you always forget, But if I can remember that one first phrase of whatever that verse is,
Then you can
then I get the
have
whole
the
thing.
rest.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, man, it's almost like you find your key points in your own songs, and you're like, okay, yeah, here's that. Or
Right.
here I can finally like take a break, or I can, I can get there to get there. I'll be all right. You
Yeah.
find your checkpoints in some of your
Try and
songs.
just
you're
not
playing
think
over
too
and over.
much, but once you hit that point,
Yep.
then you can think about all these other things
That's
while
right.
you're playing and singing and all that, and it's
all extra
it's like
feel.
you're on autopilot. Your muscle memory with your fingers and all that with the guitar.
That's right.
You all improvise on stage a lot, kind of like jams.
Yeah, no, I don't.
No, yeah, not really. I do a lot. I tell my bandmates, if anybody's gonna screw anything up, let it be me.
Yeah.
I want to be the one that screws up. I don't want anybody else doing that.
Right.
If I want you all to be perfect. Let me do the over the top or the improvisation type stuff. Let me screw that stuff up. I mean, I guess Bobby, I give him a little bit of leeway to do whatever. But yeah, everybody else is pretty,
kind of tight.
Yeah. We want it to sound as much like the record as possible. Like any other songs that we do, like covers or anything like that.
Yeah,
like,
we go ham
can
on
do-
that bit.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's stuff that we'll like, but I mean, 'cause we don't want it to sound like the original. You know, we want to put our own little bang spin on it.
Yeah.
So
I gotta tell you my embarrassing story.
Dude, yeah, it's definitely.
It's pretty bad.
I want to hear this. I don't think I've heard this one.
Okay, so I was in Daisy with Will from Phantom Mellow,
Right.
and we were doing a So Far. It's like super
Oh.
schwanky loft,
Okay.
super cool. We played with some notable folk around town, and so in Daisy I was playing a bass, singing and running a drum machine.
Oh man. Yeah.
It was a bit much. It proved to be a bit much. And like, I got pretty good at the bit, you know? So
Yeah.
And so this little drum machine I got, it's got like an A section, B section thing, you know, you switch it, switches the
Right.
pattern. So like I would just program verse, chorus sort of deal and just that every time. But it's right next to the stop button.
Oh no.
And so we're like jamming out. There's a room full. I don't know if you guys have done this So Far a bit before, but it's like playing
yes,
for
yeah.
church, but nobody's
Just
being
super
spiritual.
intimate.
They're just all sitting there like staring at you, and you're like, okay, yeah, I got this. And so I hit the wrong button. The whole band goes like, they're still playing sort of, and then I kick it back in, and it's off time.
Oh,
And it's just like.
Oh no.
So I turned it off again, and I turned it back on, and it was on time. But it was like, oh, dude, it was the most embarrassing thing I've ever done in my time. And like, there's cameras.
Yeah.
And, like,
Oh yeah.
That's a
It's
so wise.
I'm starting to sweat for you now. I'm like,
And after that, I was like, well, I think I need to get another drummer.
ugh.
That's man. Yeah. I mean, we've all had them, man. There's no perfect performance necessarily. You know.
Absolutely.
There's always something. I mean, you're always your own worst critic. You know.
For sure.
Yeah.
So.
And
That-
not then, dude.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
then.
Yeah. Right. You just want to get through it.
They
It's
were my
like,
worst critics.
Yeah.
We had Caleb's guitar pedal go out. And,
Oh,
you know, that's
dude.
like he's the most prominent sound in our band at the time. And
Dude,
it was
it's
just
no fun with
I'm
a
just
guitar.
drums. I'm just like everyone's just hearing some drums right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Oh,
Solo.
I had
This is
just
cool.
gotten it, and it had a 9-volt battery in it, and I plugged up a 9-volt power strip to it
It blew the thing.
right in the middle of the show, dude.
Oh.
And I
Dang,
couldn't
dude.
figure it out.
I'm glad you said that because I didn't even know that was a thing.
Dude, it's a thing. It's
I've
like
never
double
put a
power.
9-volt battery in a pedal.
And dude, it was a spring reverb pedal, one of those Dan Electro has the real spring
Oh,
in it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Stomp
yeah.
on it, but yeah, and it fried. I couldn't figure it out, so I was like, you know what? I'll just plug straight in. So it was like the next 3 songs were just straight in, BM, no effects.
Oh,
Just,
Damn.
and it happens, man. It happens.
Yeah.
Rocket,
It happens. That's
Yep.
why we ask it, because you never know.
Yeah.
But let's see. So if you had to choose, like, what's I mean, I know you said a lot of influences, but what would be like your favorite decade of music that would influence you the most?
Damn.
It's
Really
a tough
good
one.
one.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one because it's a favorite. You know, it's like
Yeah,
oh,
probably
shit.
like 90s alternatives is something that I always like when I was growing up, like listening to 90s alternatives. That's where like I started getting like my music consciousness. I guess that's when I started playing guitar. Is probably the mid 90s. So probably mid 90s, early aughts is. I think it's just when everything started clicking for me.
Yeah.
More than just like any like bands necessarily. It's when I just realized that music's dope. You know what I mean? So
It can take you places.
yeah, absolutely. And that's when like VH1 Behind the Music was really big. I used to watch all of those all the time, just like hear stories. I mean, I love stories, and I love hearing like where people come from and how they get to that spot, or why they wrote this song, or what that song's about. I think that was just like a huge time of information for me, I guess.
That's very cool.
It depends on the record, man. I don't know. For Bryce's stuff, I take heavy influences out of like 60s, 70s, late 60s, early 70s stuff. Kind of tried to key in on some like T-Rex guitar tones. That's I tried real hard for that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely got his sound, man.
Yeah. But I mean, growing up, like when I was really young, my mom was all about the Christian music, and so I was only allowed to listen to Christian and classical. So like by the time I was like 13, I was like rebellion and just went through everything I possibly could. You know, I listened to everything from like I was into like Pantera and Radiohead. You know, like a weird thing that
I
is.
mean, yeah, it's different, but you know, you
Yeah.
gotta start somewhere, right?
Yeah, and so I just have been, I'm pretty much like a class A audiophile, you know, like I love music and I love weird sounds and old sounds, new sounds, whatever. So it's too hard for me to pick a
It is.
time
It is.
period, man. Django Reinhardt's one of my favorites too.
And jumping off your mom saying that you can only listen to Christian music.
Yeah.
Like my parents hate it when I put on anything on the radio. They're like, no, you don't need to listen to this.
What goes in comes out.
So I brought a Butthole Surfers CD home when I was in second grade. And my mom goes, this is going in the trash. Where'd you get this? It's like, Billy Bronk. I was like, no, I don't have a Butthole Surfers CD.
See, this is what you gotta do. I started labeling mine as like Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But really it was like Metallica.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
J.S. Bach.
We have the burn CDs. We'd have 3-6 Mafia, but it would say, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Say, yeah, just
Face
some
band.
folk band.
Yeah.
You know.
Abbott Brothers.
You have any new songs written and ready already?
Actually, yeah. There's a couple that I've written. I mean, this like trying to promote this and trying to get the band, you know, as tight as possible. That's like my number one thing right now. But yeah, I mean, when there's times that I'm tired of practicing these songs, start writing. I probably have 3 or 4 of them since I don't know. I guess the last couple of months. I'm starting to get back into it. Like with me, it's kind of just happens. You know, sometimes you just have that time where you just feel super inspired and you want to write something. But yeah, it's kind of all over the place. But right now, yeah, I'm still writing some new stuff right now.
Very nice. And there are 2 songs that have not been released. Benny and Damage Done.
Well, there's 7 more songs that still need to be
Very
released.
nice.
Yeah.
So we had Chasing That Gold on 420. What was the second one? Belmont. No.
Belmont.
Belmont Tip was
Chasing
420. Chasing That Gold and Taking a Ride.
And
And Evil Roams, we have the video for it. We haven't released that yet though. Probably by the time this thing airs, it'll be released though. And yeah, the rest of the record will be out on the 13th. There's 10 tracks on this one. So
Nice.
yeah, man, we got
got
7 more for everybody to listen to.
we got
no way.
we got some hot little B-sides cooking too
Yeah.
from
Okay.
the same session. We'll
Yeah.
release later this year.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Something like that,
I'm
yeah.
release those whenever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any plans for a vinyl?
I've absolutely.
Blood, sweat, and tears. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we need I need to get some more cash before I do that. That's a little
Yeah.
pricey.
It is. It is.
But I think once we get there, we get the vinyl out. It'll be dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming back, man. It's
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What's your next show? Do you know?
Yeah. Next show is the album release show at Granada Theater, July 13th. Records will be released, midnight Thursday, and then give everybody all day to listen to it, and then
Playing with Andy Pickett.
yeah, Andy Pickett, Ottoman Turks. They're gonna be with us. They're both badass. Yeah, it's gonna be a great show, man. I cannot wait.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, any I don't know, like plugs you want to give in? Where you recorded your songs?
Yeah,
albums,
we
or
recorded
anything?
at Audio Styles.
Audio Styles.
Shout out to Audio Styles, Taylor Tash. It's out in Dripping Springs for anybody who wants to make a record. That is like the most.
mystical place to make a
It
record
is.
in the world.
It's unbelievable.
That sounds
Sure.
amazing. Sounds like
They have a
bliss.
loft in there. We stayed 5 nights and we slept there. And
They
like
slept.
Yeah. I
Party
slept.
time, man.
But yeah, we got. That's when we got real close. I mean,
That's
when you're
awesome.
spending 24 hours a day with people you don't know for 5 days, you get to know each other very quickly.
That's awesome.
And it was perfect. It's so beautiful out there. And we'd have like late night trail walks at like 2 a.m.
Dude, that's
out there in the middle of the wilderness. We had to follow this spray painted line going all the way down.
Yeah,
in
his
the middle of the darkness.
That's awesome.
That was fun.
That's awesome. Now, are all these songs from this album are from Dripping Springs? You said?
Yes, yeah. We did all 12 tracks
Styles.
in audio styles, but there's only 10 on this record.
Actually, Taylor from the guy who owns Audio Styles.
He's on BGVs.
BGVs, yeah, back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's great. Yep, there it is, right there, baby. Yeah, Bee Cactus.
And
Yeah.
Common House. Common House. Yeah.
Sneak peek, no more. How did you? What is this picture on the back?
So my buddy Justin Hamra, he's a photographer in the Dallas area. He does a lot of my photography stuff, and I was going across like some of his pictures he had, and I was like, dude, this is beautiful. What is this? He's like, oh, just a picture I took. I was like, can I use this for the back cover of my record? He goes, fuck yeah, you can, absolutely.
That's awesome.
And I think it's perfect, like the perfect, back, for the record, kind of like the tone of it. I'm Catholic, so having Mother Mary there is great, and with kind of the darker,
Like some voodoo look.
the darker like stories of what some of these songs are. I mean, I think it's a perfect juxtaposition of of all of it. You know what I mean? It's I just thought it was perfect, and it made so much sense.
That's badass.
Did you come up with this logo?
That's cool,
Yeah. I was messing around with logos before, and then I just didn't like any of them. And I had like a page with that bee on it, with like probably
500 of these
tons
little
of
bees.
different
These little
like
bees all day, like
all day long. I was like, what do y'all think of this? What do y'all think of this? I had one with like with like Wayfarers on. I had one with like a cigarette on it.
Yeah. Some of them were great, some of them were terrible.
It's it's a creative process, man.
And then
you
he got
know?
to the cactus, and I was like, dude, that cactus needs another R.
Yeah, that's right.
And and then we did the cactus, and I sent it in. We got it like touched up, and showed it to a couple people. They're like, "Dude, the cactus, bee cactus, yes."
Sea cactus, yes.
Now we're putting it. I'm putting it on everything now.
That's awesome.
It's cool. You put it on a shirt.
Oh yeah, we got shirts of it. We just got these
Bryce
stickers.
fucking Bangs.
It says Bryce
stickers.
fucking Bangs on it.
I'm gonna put them in front
And
of
they're
every
9
urinal
they're
in
9
the
inches
BMW.
long.
They're huge.
They're white.
Oh, shit, nice,
they're
dude.
massive. And I'm
That's
like, we're gonna
awesome.
post these up all over the damn place. People aren't gonna have any idea, except they're gonna be like, everybody's gonna know who Bryce fucking Bangs is.
Yeah,
They don't
right.
have a choice but to look at
Dude,
it.
because I was taking a piss at 3 Links, and I was like looking at all these band names, and I was like, I think I know who they are. And I was like, this is really great marketing.
Yeah, perfect.
Bryce, we gotta take over this.
So right after, it was like 2 beers to say, he goes, Bryce fucking Bangs. A sticker, a huge one. Get him. And I was like,
I'm on it right
he's like,
now.
Yeah. Texted my guy, my merch guy was at the show. So I told him, I was like, Bryce fucking Bangs, bee cactus on both bees. I want it 9 inches long. He goes, done. And he showed me the proof. I go, I want 200 of them, please.
Nice. Bryce fucking
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so y'all be looking out for the.
Yeah, right.
Did the bit,
I want to be
yeah.
like, oh shit, oh wow.
Like, I know him. Yeah, that was perfect. Who else we need to shout out to? Old School FX. We have a like the tone, like the muffy farty guitar that we have, and sometimes on the bass too, is a street fighting hamster. It is made by Old School FX.
Yeah.
A small pedal company out of Victoria, Texas. And
From what I understand, we bought all of them.
We bought 3 of them. As soon as we found this one at Audio Styles, I talked to Taylor Tash. I was like, hey man, where do you get this? He's like, from Old School Effects. Hit him up. I called him, and I bought 3 of them.
Dude, very
And
nice.
so now I've got one. Sam has one, and Bobby has one. And it is a very versatile pedal, man. It is, you can do so much on it.
Yeah, it's really smart technology, dude.
Yeah.
Great
That's
stuff.
wild.
Yeah.
It's like a fuzz then, right?
So it's like a overdrive with a gate on it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
He said it was,
but the chip that's in it is like some magic.
Sam, the guy who makes them all, he told me that it's normally made for bassists because it has that gate on it. The one that we used was it Scott Lee's from the Texas Gentleman?
Yeah, and then Taylor got it from Scott.
And then after that, I was just bugging him like, yo, where do I get this thing?
I need one now.
And now we got 3 of them.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so shout out to Old School Effects.
Cool. Thanks. I'll have to check it out.
Who else? Who else we need to say what's up to?
Just
Anybody who wants to endorse us.
yeah,
do it anytime.
yeah.
Common House Collective. Let me tell you about the collective real quick. Just so I started this company with Andrew Maley and Peter Waringa, who's the engineer on Bryce's record.
Hey, Pete.
Hey, Pete. So it's kind of like a response to like, I don't know. We wanted to DIY the thing, right? But we still want to make music that's on a competitive plane. So it takes a whole team of folk.
It does. 100%.
And Bryce is our first big release. So
Very nice.
hopefully it goes well.
Yes,
I
dude,
think it
most
will.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
This record's dope.
Seems to be going pretty well.
And what's the name of the group?
Common House Collective.
Common House
Yeah,
Collective.
so if you need a record in DF Dubs, we're out in DF Dubs.
The quality, the production quality is really
It's
amazing.
very
Thank
It
you.
sounds
Yeah.
very
Fucking
good.
Sam, dude.
Ayo.
Yeah.
Tone Wizard.
Social media.
Social
Bryce
media.
fucking Bangs.
I haven't
.com,
made that shit
yes,
yet. But at Bryce fucking Bangs.
Now you gotta make it 12 inches.com.
Gotta use that hat symbol now on all
Yeah,
of them.
right, yeah.
Damn, I should have thought about that.
You
Bryce
should have.
I'm gonna call my guy now. Damn.
Yeah.
No, at Bryce Bangs on Instagram, Twitter, Bryce_Bangs. We're on Facebook. We're BryceBangsMusic.com. If you know how to work the internet and you spell Bryce with a Y,
Yes.
then you will find me. Yeah.
Bryce with the Y.
That's perfect, man.
Yeah, man.
You guys
Follow me. We're on
for coming out.
Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. Yeah. Put me on these playlists, man.
Yeah, stuff
Nice,
streaming
nice,
on
nice.
everything.
Yep.
So Thursday is technically July 12th, right?
Friday the third. Well, Friday the
midnight.
13th.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's gonna be midnight Thursday.
Midnight Thursday. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So
Yep.
Friday the 13th,
Big
which
release.
again is just a perfect date for
Yeah,
all
yeah,
this.
right.
All the weirdos are gonna come out. It's gonna be hopefully it'll be a full moon.
Yes.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for it. It's a long time coming and put a lot of hard work into it. We all had a vision on what we wanted it to be. I had an idea when I was going in the studio on what it was going to be, but it exceeded every single expectation that I thought. So I can't thank Sam enough and all the guys that worked on the record, because it's this is it's my baby and I'm obsessed with it now. And it's something that I like now that we have what we have. It just only makes me want to do more. You know what I mean? I saw when I was in your bathroom earlier that life is a journey, not a destination, and
Amen,
that's
dude.
like the journey of it. It's been the most fun part.
That's
So when we release this, it's going to be really, really great, and I cannot wait. But I can't wait to see what else we're going to do, after this.
That's what it's all about, man. That's
Yes, sir.
awesome. That's awesome, man. Well, man, thank you guys so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us, man.
Yeah,
This is
dude,
dope.
It's great. It's great. July 13th is when it comes out.
Yep,
Yeah,
July
Early in the
13th,
morning.
Bryce Bangs,
Y'all get
baby.
it. All the
Should be
plugs are
out.
there. Thank you guys again. And I hope y'all have a good show, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Will do. Thanks. Appreciate you.
Shaka.
Shaka. Right
Cool.
on, guys.